Why isn't mindfulness taught in schools? It would perhaps be one of the most important skills to learn. The ability to stay focused, the ability to not experience mind wandering, to be able to be there in the present moment, focusing on the teacher and the task at hand, rather than daydreaming about Instagram and playing video games and all of the other things that the students are thinking about. We're seeing more and more research that mindfulness is life-changing, especially in the digital age. It seems to be extremely important, and every single person who I teach on a one-to-one basis of mindfulness says that it is improving their lives. So why aren't young people being taught this in some kind of mandatory course? I genuinely believe within 5 to 10 years, the education system will change and mindfulness will be a part of a normal student's life. But till that point, to learn about mindfulness requires the ability to self-learn outside of school. So there will be a few students who have either been taught mindfulness by friends or family or have just stumbled upon it online as you are watching me talk about this now. These are the lucky ones. These are the ones who are hearing about a skill that improves all of their school experience. The more mindful you are, the easier you'll find it to get into a state of flow. And a state of flow is absolutely required for deep learning. That is where you lose sense of time and you're just completely into the task at hand. So you'll think that 20 minutes has only went by when actually it's been about 2 hours. You've probably experienced this at some point, but not too often, because you probably have quite low levels of mindfulness if it was something that we could measure. In fact, I want to check something right now. I believe there definitely will be some schools in some countries that teach mindfulness to students. And I've got a hypothesis right now that those schools, those countries that have a mindfulness student program are the ones who are the top countries to live in with the happiest population. So first of all, what's the best country? So the best country is things like, I don't trust this. United States is number 7 on this, but then the URL for this is US News, so I don't really trust that. What's the happiest country? Finland, Denmark, Switzerland, Iceland, Norway, Netherlands, Sweden, New Zealand. Okay, that seems reasonable. What country teaches mindfulness in schools? I assume it's going to be Finland, Denmark, Sweden. It's going to be like most of these. Sweden, Netherlands practice mindfulness. There's actually students in England who have been taught mindfulness. So this is from 2019. This is a study right now. I am sure that the students who got taught these techniques of mindfulness, of meditation, they will go on to have significantly better mental health than their peers. This is a very, very important skill. And yes, it's a skill. Yes, it's something that we're born with, but like a lot of things we're born with, it's adaptable. You have the ability to level it up, just like a skill in a video game. For most people, for you watching this right now, you probably have a low level in the mindfulness skill. Maybe you've been meditating recently, but how many years have you not been meditating? How many years have you spent 8 hours a day just scrolling on your phone and just experiencing information overload? Probably for most of your life. Mindfulness combats the negatives of this internet addiction that pretty much we all have, especially the younger generation. If you find yourself addicted to Instagram and these notifications pop up and all the blue lights just hitting you, making you a zombie, mindfulness is the cure to that. And I will still keep on saying this because I know that I'm going to be proven right. Mindfulness is the best addiction therapy we've ever known, ever. There's nothing more effective than mindfulness in reducing someone's addiction to literally anything, whether they're addicted to the internet, whether they're addicted to alcohol or smoking or junk food. It doesn't matter. The more mindful that person becomes, the less of the addiction that they experience. It's really hard to explain how that works, but mindfulness is it's kind of like magic if you compare it to average normal life. And that's why it sometimes doesn't get as good as of a rep as it should do, because it kind of makes you into the normal human being, and that isn't so special. But when you compare that to how we are as an internet addicted generation, it's like a superpower. Whilst all of your friends are going to be just in a haze thinking about the notification that could be coming in, those DMs that they sent on Instagram and all the messages that they're getting and all the texts and the dopamine spikes and all this, you'll have the ability to concentrate on what the teacher is saying. Whilst that girl on the opposite side of the classroom is thinking about some traumatic event, you'll have the ability to concentrate on the test. It's powerful stuff. It is genuinely life-changing stuff. Mindfulness, I think, is the most effective treatment for any ill health. If you've got anxiety, depression, it's probably because you have a low level of mindfulness. I definitely sound like one of those weird spiritual people who are preaching meditation so much, but I was literally just a normal guy up until about a year ago when I discovered this stuff. And since then, I'm still the normal guy. I'm still a guy who just goes to the gym and is normal and stuff in the UK. But how much it's changed my life, and the more research I do into it and the exact benefits that I can experience, it's mind-blowing. When you understand it more and more, because it is a difficult concept to understand, but when you do understand it more, you'll be thinking like, why isn't every single person ever doing this? Why has no one told me about mindfulness before? If you've got anxiety, if you've got intrusive thoughts, if you've got anything, any mental problem regarding your thoughts, mindfulness is literally the most simple counter to that, because mindfulness is, the more mindful you are, the better you are able to stay in the present moment. And present moment is the word that a lot of mindfulness people say, and like, what does that even mean? The more mindful you are, the less you're focused on your thoughts and the more focused you are in real life. So picture this, you've got anxiety. You've got some messed up thoughts that just keep on coming in your head that scare you or that are ruining your life. Well, with more and more mindfulness, those thoughts will just be quieter. Maybe they wouldn't be quieter in that sense, but it's almost like the real world would be louder. I think that's a good way of putting it. The higher your mindfulness, the more mindfulness you have, the real world gets louder and the thoughts get quieter. You'll still have the thoughts, absolutely. It's not like a magic pill or whatever that just completely eliminates them. But it's a very natural way of improving your mental space. There's a very good quote that I like as well by Tim Ferriss in the book Tool of Titans. He says that 80% of the world-class CEOs or leaders have some kind of daily meditation practice. It seems to be the case more and more that you research rich and famous and successful people that pretty much they all have some kind of daily meditation or mindfulness practice. It seems to almost be a requirement to level up in life. Because how can you level up in life when you've got severe anxiety? How can you excel in your career or in your schoolwork if you keep daydreaming and you just keep thinking about stuff instead of being able to focus on the teacher and the work in front of you? It's very difficult. And that's why I think it should be taught in schools, and it's common sense. It's like a no-brainer. Of course it should be taught in schools. It's like the great equalizer. If it was ever something that we could experiment and study with, I am sure that the students with higher levels of mindfulness would always perform better than the students with low levels of mindfulness, because it is literally just common sense. If you're able to focus, you're able to focus on the work. If you're not able to focus, then you're just thinking about something else. You're obviously not going to perform as well as your peers. And unfortunately, I was one of these kids. I wanted to try hard. I did try hard. I wanted to do well in school, but I just couldn't focus. I couldn't read more than one sentence without my mind just drifting away. Maybe you experience the same thing. And if you do, don't wait any longer. Start your meditation practice, start your mindfulness training. It's as simple as just sit there and focus on what is happening right now. Your thoughts will come. But the whole point of mindfulness that no one teaches in a nice way, in my opinion, is that the point of meditation, the point of a mindfulness training, is specifically about the return of focus to the present moment. So everyone said, oh, I tried to meditate, but I couldn't clear my thoughts. And that's like a fat person going to the gym. I tried to go to the gym once, but I didn't lose 60 pounds. You went to the gym once and you want the rewards of someone who's committed to years of practice. I tried to meditate once, but I couldn't clear my... No, you meditate, you get thoughts, that is the point. But when the thoughts come, your focus, the intention of the meditation practice is that when the thoughts come, you just bring the focus back to real life. You sit there, you focus on your breathing. You think about high school. You're diving deep into a thought right now. Then you remember, okay, I'm meditating. So the point of meditating is to know that I'm going to be experiencing thoughts. I'm going to be thinking. The point of meditating is to just bring the focus back to the breath. It's specifically that bit. Bring the focus back to the present moment. That's where you get 1 rep, 1 bicep curl for the brain. If you think this is like an easier way to understand mindfulness than the stuff that you've heard so far, then here is, I've already had it up on screen. Here's the mindfulness framework that I made. And I think that this is a lot more logical and easier to understand for most people, because most of the guides that I went through were like, oh, just focus, be aware of the present moment. Like, what does that mean? Like, I am aware of the present moment, but I keep thinking, like, what am I supposed to be doing? Well, here's a 4-step process, which I believe is the exact step-by-step process to improving mindfulness. And also, if you want to learn more about the mindfulness framework, there's like a 25-minute lecture that I did on Skillshare. So the link's in the description. If you want to watch it, then you can sign up to Skillshare and then I get some nice affiliate referral bonus. So I appreciate that. You're making me rich. It's sad because I know a whole lot of us would have benefited from being taught mindfulness at a younger age. The guys that I'm coaching seem to be benefiting from it quite a lot. And it's the same story. Lack of focus in school. Just if this was something that was taught to us the same amount as trigonometry and there's a lot of benefits to mindfulness. I can assure you that you will perform better at work. You will have better relationships. You'll have more focus and more energy throughout the day. You'll experience less mind wandering, which is the biggest part, because I know that is so common because I've experienced it myself. And when I ask people, it seems to be like 100% of people experience mind wandering, where your thoughts just keep drifting away every few seconds. You're focused on something, you're thinking about something, you're talking to someone, and then you start thinking about something that's completely irrelevant. Mindfulness reduces that. And that is honestly like a superpower. It might not seem like it right now, but it's a superpower in terms of the comparison between a normal life of like averageness, of average mindfulness, compared to your level of mindfulness after a year or so of training, maybe even a couple of months. I think it's hard to say because I dove deep into my personal mindfulness training. I had very inconsistent meditation, and then from May 12th, I just started meditating every single day. And I think I've missed like 3 days since then. And for the last 1.5 months, I've been aiming for an hour a day. And anxiety is at an all-time low. Focus is at an all-time high. Happiness, all-time high. Confidence, being aware of the present moment, all-time high. State of flow, easy to get into. That's powerful. If anyone knows what the state of flow is, by Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi, I don't know how you say his name, but if anyone knows about that, if you want to do something great with your life, if you want to like write something or create something or just do business work or just perform really well and be focused, a state of flow is what you want to get into. This is what athletes call being in the zone. If you're not in the zone, if you're just mind wandering and you're about to enter a race, 800 meters, and you're just thinking about stuff instead of thinking about the perfect form for your running, you're probably not going to do as well. Athletes call it being in the zone. Productivity people call it being in a state of flow. And you want to be experiencing this as much as possible, because this is the moment where happiness is experienced. Happiness is being in the present moment. You're not happy when you just sit there and you think about your anxiety or your depression. And even we've got data to show that you aren't even happy when you sit there with happy thoughts. It's like perceived happiness. You think about something pleasant and you're actually slightly less happy than if you were just mindful of a normal world, which is mad. Self-learning is massive. If you didn't get taught this stuff in school, then you are teaching yourself by searching for videos like this and sitting through them. You are teaching yourself important knowledge that you missed out on through the education system. So, well done. It's hard to learn by yourself when you've never been taught how to learn. So if you're learning from this, and if this encourages you to start your mindfulness practice, or you've already started, then that is honestly fantastic. You should feel proud of yourself, because it is a uncomfortable practice when you first start, definitely. So if you've already braved that, then well done. I've mentioned that the coaching clients that I have, so I do personal development coaching, that most of the guys there have experienced mindfulness, and it feels like it's helped them. So this is a bit off topic, but if you want a free month of personal development coaching, so that'll be 4 one-on-one video calls with me, like 4 hours at least, probably a little bit longer than that, and then a whole month of like messaging and me giving you advice. I'll hold your hand and teach you how to practice mindfulness and gratitude. I'll make you the workout routine. I'll motivate you 24/7. I'll be like a veteran full-time accountability partner. If you want a free month of that, what I'm going to be doing is I have an email newsletter. Every month, one person from the email newsletter subscribers will be contacted, and we'll do that month of personal development coaching for free. So you'll get, like, I think I calculated it'll be roughly 10 hours of my time over that month directly to your self-improvement, which I think is actually quite valuable. I've got it priced at like £70 right now. So I just wanted to help more people, especially people who either can't afford or just feel uncomfortable with paying for something online. 10 hours of me, and like literally me every single day messaging you, telling you like things to do and mentalities to develop and all of this. And specifically, I'll be teaching you everything about fitness and mindfulness and mental health and all this stuff. So the email newsletter link is in the description below. I'll have it up on screen right now. Even if you don't win, the email newsletter is kind of nice. It's like morning motivation. So maybe 3 times a week, I'll just send an email out, and it'll be something quite early that when you see it, it will hopefully ignite that fire inside of you to go and achieve something that day. So if you want morning motivation to start your day from me, and you also want the chance to get a free month of personal development coaching, then go to the description right now. Sign up to the personal development newsletter. Rise and shine, kings. If you sat through all this way, mindfulness is definitely something that you're interested in. So consider starting right now. Consider straight when this video ends in like 10 seconds, just ask yourself, what can I feel right now? It doesn't have to be your breath. I change it. For me, here's a few cues. I'll tell you mine. I'll sit there and I'll meditate, and obviously they'll tell you to start with your breath, but then I go away from that and I start thinking about other things. Which muscle is the most sore right now? How does my body feel against the surface that I'm sat at? What temperature can I feel? Can I feel the clothes on my skin? Things like that. It's all about just being mindful, being aware of the present moment. Of things that are happening right now. I'll have the mindfulness framework on screen one more time. I think you may benefit from just trying to follow this for a few minutes. Take care. But